we have a lovely dish that we're gonna make here. So it's a steak, asparagus, and pomme dauphinoise. It's like potatoes, gratin, or potato scallop potatoes, kind of like that, okay? Just sharpening up the blade there. Make nice big pieces here. 10-ounce cuts for you folks. Have delicious steaks, okay? We're sending you the best stuff out there, okay? Absolutely. Look at that. Oh, that's perfect. See that? Look at that. Look at how dark red that is, okay? That's the kind of meat you want to eat, right? If you find it's bright and red-like and blood-like color, or like it looks like this, like these, then don't eat it. It's no good, okay? This is the kind of color you're looking for, guys. This is a steak. This is delicious, okay? You can't have it all. You only get 2 portions, I'm sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel these, and then we're gonna slice them thin. So I have a little home mandolin here. So you just have to slice them thin, and then we're gonna slice them into this bowl, and we're gonna mix them with a little salt, pepper, some cream, and then we're gonna put them in this vessel here. That's about 1 inch deep. This one's about 1 inch deep. So if it's a little deeper, or wider, or whatever, we're gonna send you, enough potatoes, and you're just gonna mix it nicely in the bowl here. And then you're gonna put it in a vessel of some sort that you have, or that you purchase, all right? And then you're gonna make this dauphinoise, and you're gonna put it in the oven, and it's gonna be fantastic, okay? So watch this. This is the first step, because this takes the longest. So this is gonna cook first in the oven, so it's kind of a process, obviously. We'll prepare everything else. So we'll prepare the asparagus afterwards, so that they're ready to go. And we have the hot water boiling for it, and then we'll do an ice bath for it so that we can control it and do whatever we need to do with it at any time, okay? This is just this case, we're starting with the potatoes first because obviously it takes the longest. And then that way it'll be ready sooner as opposed to doing this first and dealing with the steak. This way, this will be cooking and we can do all the other things that we need to do to prepare for the dinner right after this, okay? All right, so let's get started. Here we go. Okay. There we go. We're just gonna peel these potatoes. But I'm not putting them in water. I'm not doing anything because we're gonna kind of make this quick, okay? If we were doing it and leaving it overnight, or we did the potatoes in advance somehow, then sure. But in this case, it's just adding to the potatoes, so we don't need to. So we can just go like this, because we're gonna put the cream on afterwards anyways. And we're gonna season it up. And we're gonna season the pan, or the vessel, before we put everything in it. So just watch what we're doing. Copy, imitate this, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna have a great dish. It's gonna be fantastic, okay? Copy me, okay? Do what I do. Watch me hold the potato, how I peel, how I hold the peeler even. It's got two divots here, so I can go quickly, okay? So anybody can peel it. It's not like those old style ones. This is easier, supposedly. I mean, if you know how to use the other peeler, then that's easy too. But this peeler works great for everybody. Okay. So that gets out of the way. So we have that done. Now, or even this, probably don't need this anymore for anything until we get to the asparagus, of course. So let's put that there. Do-do-do. Need to clean all the little bits off. Makes me feel better. So here I check the potatoes, the width. So this is probably, about 1 millimeter, but we don't need it that thin, okay? So I'm gonna make it probably maybe 2 millimeters. And check on your mandolin, like the sturdiness of the plastic, because I know most of them out there are plastic. So you can see how this one's kind of got no strength here. It's kind of bending to my will with my thumb, which I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on. So it's gonna keep bending and doing that for you over there as well. But on this side, it seems way firmer. So I'm gonna keep on this side of the mandolin because I notice that it's sturdier. So this is good. This is probably about 2 mils, just like that. I don't have a ruler, but you can kind of gauge it. It's not that important. What it is important is that it's thin enough that it's going to be able to be cooked in this vessel, and that it's going to bend to the other potatoes, so that it's going to, you know, if it's thin, that's good. That's fine. That's great. But if it was thicker, then there'll be gaps. And so then when you put everything in here, the gap that it leaves between the ridge, in between here, this gap here is going to be more significant. So you can put less in, which is fine too if you want. Not a problem with that. But I'm just talking about quantity and understanding how this is going to be layered in here so that you can really kind of get an understanding of what's happening. So you have to pay, because all these little details that make cooking. So add those all up and you end up with someone that can cook well, all right? So that's how we're kind of approaching it and thinking about it right now. So I'm going to finish doing these. I'm holding it on right now with the finger tips, but now I've switched to my palm being on top. So this way, there's no way I'm going to cut myself, okay? Because I can rub my hand along the blade and I'm not going to cut my hand. You see that? See what it looks like? You can see how it's just pushed up against my palm. I'm not going to cut myself like that. It's going to be fine. And I don't have to cut this piece anymore. It's thin enough. I can use it. It's going to be great, okay? So just kind of watch how I do things. Imitate them so that you can have success. Because that's the whole point. You want to find success by imitating someone that already knows how to do something, okay? Whatever it is. If it's cooking or something else, same idea, okay? Okay. So there we go. The potatoes are cooked. They're cut. Ready to go. Okay. Flying through the air. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna season it a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of a little bit of salt in there. Mix it around. Black pepper. Okay. Okay. So I'm mixing it up. Okay. Seasoning up in there so that, but you don't want to put too much in because you're going to cook it. And then this is all going to be contained in one vessel. Okay, so you don't want it to be too salty. So now I'm going to put the cream in. Get everything coated. Okay, so that everything gets a little bit of cream. Right. Okay. And then whatever liquid's left over, we're gonna pour on top to finish it. So that's cooked or cut. I'll get it right one time. I don't know when, but sometime. And now, so as long as it's not warm, okay? It can't be hot, obviously, because butter melts when it's hot, obviously. You knew that already. But anyway, so I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna rub it in, okay? I'm gonna rub in the butter. Good, little bit of a good amount. Just like that. Oops. You know, slippery when wet. Okay, like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna wash my hands again. And you should too. Okay, stay clean. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna, well, you can go like that a little bit. Tenderize it with a couple of medium shots, not too heavy. All right, and we're going to reserve it after we use it. But for now, just like this, you're going to cut it on one face. You're going to keep the rest, and you're going to kind of rub it in. Okay, just rub it in, just like that. You're going to transfer some of the garlic flavor into the fat. Okay, you would do this like this for like garlic bread, anything like that. The raw juice of the garlic is the most pungent, flavorful part, okay? Before cooking it, this is how much it transfers all the flavor. And you'll smell it. It'll smell like garlic. It'll smell, wow, like lots of garlic, okay? And you can go like this too. This is what we do in the restaurant. We give it a season on the outside, just like that. And if you got really, really high out the walls, kind of give it on the walls too as well, okay? Season it up a little bit. Okay. All right. So now that we've completed that, we're going to now layer it in. Okay. So This is a vessel that I use because I have it, okay? It's a matter of what you have and what you want to have. It doesn't have to be anything as specific. It just happens to be that this is the vessel I have. So, see these potatoes? They're smaller potatoes, and they fit like this over on top of each other. Just like that, right? Like I'm not just pouring it over and just throwing it in here. I'm kind of layering them in, okay? With a little bit of finesse, a little bit of thinking, caring about the product. I'm just kind of layering it in there, layering it in properly. The words will come to me. And see how this, it just happens to be that this fits just right. Obviously you can manipulate the potato. So if I have to, and it needs to be a little thinner, well then you can turn the potato just ever so slightly and it'll fit the size that you need it to be, okay? This is wider, so what do? I'm gonna curve it a little bit as I'm working it, okay? And yeah, you can say, well, I don't have that and this and that. You're gonna find a way to make it work because there's always a way to make it right. So this one, we're gonna just kind of layer it over. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna cook in the oven ever so gently. And we're gonna put these in. So I'm just kind of making it as, what do you call it? A circular shape so that they're kind of together underneath one another all the way through. And then I'm gonna do that again, either until I run out of potatoes or I run out of space. Whichever comes first, okay? Makes it easy, right? Don't have to worry about it. Don't think too hard. Just get on it, put it in there, and then whatever the liquid is, like if you have too much potato and it's too big or too much for the vessel, then reserve it behind. Okay? Put it in something else or keep it for something else, okay? And we're gonna do this right now, just like this, until it's ready. All right, so we're slowly getting there. I'm gonna take these little ones out because I found bigger ones underneath. All right, and you can kind of push it in a little so it fills the air or spaces in as opposed to having air. Right on. Jumpy potatoes. Okay, so they're gonna cook brilliantly. Okay, so I got a couple pieces left over and I'm just pushing them down a little bit in here so that I can fill whatever gaps are in there. So look, I have this bit, a few pieces left over, okay? That happens, okay? Nothing wrong with that. Never gonna be perfect. If you have one of those, I need to fill every crevice problems, well, this is gonna be a problem, isn't it? But just pour the cream in. Okay. I got a little cream here too. I'm gonna use it all. Okay. All right. Cool. Amazing. All right. So, step one is done. Okay, so the potatoes are ready to be put in the oven. So your oven, 125 degrees. This should take about 20 to 25 minutes, okay? Should be fine, all right? Put it at the medium to the top shelf, cook it in the oven just like this, on a tray, and you'll be ready to go in about 20, 25 minutes, like I said, okay? Let's cook it. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the asparagus. Okay. So, whatever kind of asparagus you end up with, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, take the elastics off because they don't taste very good. And then second, peeler, which I have right here in front of me, which I kind of was doing on purpose, but then I lost track of it. So here we are. You can see everything that we have. So I got these asparagus here. Now, there's a couple ways to go at it. Depending how thick they are. So something thin like this compared to something thick like this. Different, right? You can see that. They're not going to cook the same. They can't. This one's significantly larger. It won't cook the same as this thinner one here. So that's kind of what you have to think about as well. But anyway, so something thin like this, I might peel or I might not peel. But I might clean them off. I don't know if you can see this. This is something we do. Sometimes I clean this like this. These are all the points of where there would be other little asparagus coming off and growing. But for presentation purposes, we take these off in some of the restaurants, depending on where you work. The just come off just like this. All I do is I slide the blade underneath, just ever so gently. I don't pull down, I pull, let's see here. I pull, so I get underneath, and I pull this way. I kind of pull that way so that I don't peel it all the way off the asparagus. That's one way for the really thin ones. Now the thicker ones, let's get this out of the way so you can see. And so it stays clean. You got like this. So, am I gonna eat that? Maybe, if I peel it enough. I'm holding the edge like this. So here we are. So this part here is obviously way thicker than this part. So you can either cut it off like that, but if you like long asparagus, maybe, there's a little resistance there. Maybe if you peel it like this, all of a sudden, everything has the same diameter. And all I had to do, and yes, now it's rounder here because I manipulated it, but you could do that up here as well, right? And now everything's the same. Okay, and you can also make it all real sexy by making it the same length or the same amount of peel on the asparagus. But is that important at your house? No. What's important is that it all cooks the same and tastes great. Okay, that's the ultimate thing. Okay, look at this. Okay, I'm able to turn it while I'm on the edge. See that? I can turn it ever so much. I can turn it as much or as little as I need to. Look at that, okay? See that? So now I can cook these at the same time, and I don't have to worry anymore. One's not gonna cook, and one's not gonna overcook. Okay? And at the end, we're gonna probably just kind of take this little bit off. Have them the same length, of course. So you just kind of push them up together. So they're all the same length, kind of like that. And then you give them one shot. So they're all the same length, okay? And if you want them a little shorter, you can cut them shorter. No big deal. Okay, look at that. All right. Okay, all right, so we got all the asparagus now. Okay, look at that. All right, so I'm lining them all up. Using my knife to do it. All the same length, okay? And then, whoop, there we go. Now they're all the same length. Look at that. Okay, all the same asparagus. Okay, right. So to cook the asparagus, you're gonna need some salted water. So it's gotta taste like the ocean a little bit. You're gonna use regular salt. You're gonna put it in, you're gonna bring it to a boil, and then you're gonna drop these asparagus in. And they're not gonna take long. They're probably gonna take maybe about a minute, maybe. Okay, and we're gonna test them in the water, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about, okay? And in the meantime, before that, we're gonna make an ice bath, all right? So that you can shock them and then control the situation as best as you want to or can, okay? So we'll get that set up, and then we'll cook the asparagus, okay? Sometimes I tie them with a little bit of string, you know, like that butcher's twine, if I had a whole bunch to do with them, but this is not very many. So we're just gonna use a spider, pull them out, and put them in the ice bath, all right? So here we go. Put a little, that should be enough. Okay. Put a little water in here, cold water. All right, I'm gonna use this spider right here. So I'm just waiting for the water to boil, so we can do that right now. We're just gonna make sure the water is actually boiling, nice and hot, okay? So that this really turns green, so it really pops and becomes very beautiful. You'll see the difference, okay? Whether I've peeled this, you're gonna make the asparagus is gonna kind of shimmer a little bit because it's gonna be green, and it's gonna look like it's a little bit shiny on the outside, just from peeling it like this, okay? It's gonna be cool, watch. So, we're just gonna put this all in the same direction. We're just gonna slide it in, gentle, and then we're gonna slide it out gently too, because I don't wanna break the tips off, okay? Okay, make sure they're all submerged in the water, not sitting above it, okay? No lid on top, just gonna cook them straight up like this, okay? And they're gonna start to get nice and green. We cut all the woody parts off, and we've already peeled all the woody bits off, so everything that we're gonna eat here is gonna be nice mouth texture. Okay, see how they're getting dark green? Okay. See how that is? Texture? It's perfect, okay? Take them out. That might have been like 45 seconds. Maybe a minute, okay? But that's as long as it needs, okay? No more than that. Salt water like that, fantastic, okay? Just wanna make sure you see exactly what you're supposed to see. So let me turn this off, okay? So it's kinda got a little bit of resistance. It's not floppy, but it's not snappy either, okay? Can you hear that? That's perfect asparagus, okay? You don't wanna cook it any more than that, or any less than that, okay? That's how you want your asparagus. A little crunchy, cooked, but like I always say, not overcooked, okay? We're cooking, we're not overcooking. That's the whole point. Delicious, okay? So now we ice bath them. They're chilling out. And so then anytime we wanna reheat them, we can do it anytime we want, okay? We don't have to worry about them overcooking, changing color, or anything else happening to them, because now they're in the water and they all look perfect, right? See how the skin looks? See how it's kind of green, shimmering like I was talking about before? That's what you want. That's perfect looking asparagus. Do it like this anywhere in the world, they're gonna love you. Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of this. We got the dauphinoise cooking in the oven, and now we're gonna get to the steak, and we're gonna have everything ready at the same time, all right? And we're gonna also heat up the sauce so that we have something to pour over and add to this delicious dish, okay? Let's get going. Pan's heating up right now, okay? And now I'm gonna season them. A little bit of oil. Okay. Both sides. Okay. See that? All right. Now, black pepper on top. All right. Oh, salt. Okay. Both sides. Okay. Now we're going to get this nice and hot so we can sear it. Now there's a couple ways we can cook the steak depending on your situation at your home, but assuming that you have an oven, this will be the first way you can do it. So we're going to sear it on the one side, then we're going to flip it over and we're going to put it in the oven. Now this is for a medium rare steak, okay? If you like it more cooked, you're going to add an extra minute. But for medium rare steaks, cook in the oven, 450, 2 minutes. Steak, pull out, rest. Put it back in a hot pan, cook it in the oven 1 more minute, put it on the plate. We're going to let it rest for 5 or 3, but just enough time for it to kind of let all the juices distribute themselves back through the meat, and then we're gonna have them ready for the plate, okay? That's the idea. So we're gonna sear them off, and we can heat everything else up so that we're ready to go, so that we have everything we need. So the asparagus is here. We're gonna reheat those after we seared this and pulled it out of the oven. We have the dauphinoise that's ready to go because we cooked that before, so we don't have to worry, and we're good there as well, okay? So here we go, okay? So a little oil in the pan here as well. Gonna just distribute that there nicely, so everything's got a little bit of oil on it. Okay, so now, first steak goes in, okay? Second steak goes in, and we're just gonna let them cook, okay? Don't move them around, don't play with them, just leave them alone, okay? If the oil is not level, all right, that's a different story. But you can move around a little bit like that, but keep them on the heat, okay? We want to get a little crust on the outside, and then we're gonna flip them over, and we're gonna put them in the oven. Like I just said, for 2 minutes. Medium rare, 10-ounce steak. Want a medium? We're gonna cook it for 3 minutes. You want it more than that? We're gonna cook it for 4, then we'll cook it for 5. Okay, for 10-ounce steaks. It's gonna be great. Turn on the ventilation here so I don't smoke out myself. And if you've got a smoke detector in your apartment or your condo or wherever it is you are, try and get the ventilation going before it starts, because I know what that sounds like. And then you've got more of the problems with the trying to put it out because it's going beep, 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 okay, making you crazy. So if you can, prepare yourself because you get a little smoke in your apartment. I know they're sensitive. Get prepared, all right? Okay. Now, you see that? You see? Can you see the color? That's good. So now we go straight into the oven. Okay, turn this off. Put a timer, okay? 2 minutes. Medium rare. I'm putting a timer on for 2 minutes. Okay? Do the same at home. Oh, there we go. So, I'm gonna let it rest like this. Now I have a sheet pan here with a perforated tray in it. So it's got holes, obviously. So there's air can circulate around and it's gonna stop cooking. It's gonna let it cool. So that's an advantage to that. But if you have something that would do the same, and if you have to, let's say, in this case, took it and we just kind of rested it on its side a little bit so that so it stops touching. So you can kind of go like, hold it up a little bit somehow. So it's not touching any other surfaces so that it can kind of cool on its own. That would be ideal, okay? Somehow pull that off at home, whether it's even on a plate. What do I got here even? I got a plate like this. I mean, if I have to, I'm gonna go like this a little bit, hang it off the edge, and do as much as I can to kind of stop it from cooking more, okay? That's what I wanted. I don't want it to cook more, I just want it to kind of cool off, okay? So I just want you to kind of think about that, whatever you're doing. So you have to kind of maybe have to hold it in the air a little bit or do something like that. Rest it on something that's also steel or metal that will transfer the heat and will not become like a thermos where it retains the heat. You kind of have to get the heat out of there. So that's kind of what you have to do to kind of make it right so that it doesn't keep cooking. That's kind of the idea, okay? So you can kind of feel it now. It's got a good feel. It feels medium rare-ish, okay? So we're gonna leave it alone, let it cook, or let it rest so it stops cooking, and everything else is kind of ready, okay? This is the sauce poivrade, everybody, that I just poured in the pot. So we're gonna get that hot. I am putting 2 ounces of butter. I'm putting 20 grams of butter in here for the amount of sauce I've sent you, okay? And that's the perfect amount for an emulsion, okay? You don't have to worry about anything, you just have to bring it to a boil, put a little salt in it, and that's it. Like a pinch of salt, like I just did right there, is perfect, okay? Can you see inside here, guys? You can see how this is coming together here. This you can just leave on the side as well, okay? Once this gets emulsified, it's gonna boil and it's gonna take the butter, and then let's see, let's move this 1 sec, okay? Like this. See how it's kind of, it's starting to boil a little bit on the outsides. And then, yeah, it's gonna kind of emulsify the fat with this base of the sauce, which is called a poivrade sauce. So it's red wine based sauce that we've made with veal stock. And now we're gonna finish off with the butter that you have that's ready just for this, okay? And you're gonna add it in, let it boil like this, and you're gonna taste it, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about consistency-wise, because I'm gonna show you right now what it should look like, okay? So now it's boiling together a little bit. And anytime you think that it gets too thick, you can always add a little bit of water. That's the perfect thing to do. Don't add something else. Don't add wine, don't add anything, don't add some other stock. That's not what's evaporating. What's always evaporating out of it is the water. So you add a little more water back into it, it comes back to where it was supposed to be, okay? So then that's the perfect way to do it, okay? And this is for 2 portions, for 2 people, and the sauce has got good flavor and strong so that it doesn't require an ocean of sauce. It requires just a little bit of sauce. It goes a very long way. It travels and permeates through all of the dish, over the asparagus, on the steak, with the potato. It's wonderful. Okay, see that? I'm gonna turn it down slightly. Can you see that? You count to 3. 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, okay? And that's the consistency of the sauce you're looking for, okay? And then you can leave this on the side, ready for it to be plated on top of the veg, on top of the dauphinoise, on top of the asparagus, whatever you got, okay? Give it a taste. If it's got enough salt in it, and if it needs a bit more, put a little bit more in there, okay? Now we're ready to go. And that's all it takes. Just a little bit like that. Delicious. Beautiful. The next thing, now we have this lovely little dauphinoise here. See them? Scalloped potatoes that we have. Dauphinoise potatoes. And to finish it off, we're gonna put a little bit of cheese on top. We're gonna grate it. You can use the this zester here if you like, or you can use a lovely box grater if you want, okay? Whatever you got at home, whatever works for you. It can be bigger, it can be smaller. Either one works just fine, okay? Look at that. So this is about an ounce of cheese we sent you. So you put it on top. Oop. All right, look at that. Looks like snow, huh? So now I'm just pushing it around, covering the whole thing. Smells wonderful. All right. Oh, delicious. Okay, so I put it back in the oven. So I'm melting the rest of the cheese that I just put on top so that we can then make a little gratin is what they call it in French. So that it's caramelizing and warming up so it becomes delicious. Warm hot cheese. Who doesn't like that? Anyway, this is the next one. So we got the asparagus here, okay? So the asparagus would fit in here because we trimmed them down in the pot, right? So what I would do is I would take a little bit of this, a little bit of butter, let it melt. Take a little of this. If you like black pepper, go right ahead. If not, don't, okay? Put that in there. You can either put the shallots in here or with the steak at the very end. Either one is delicious, okay? So let's say we put a little bit in here. Because it doesn't take a lot of cooking for shallots. They need just about a minute to cook, and that's enough, okay? So this is a whole shallot. You can put a whole one in here or half of it and you're good to go, okay? So I'm just gonna let it cook. Maybe get a wooden spoon. Okay, get something you like. If you need a little bit more butter, go ahead. Maybe save a little bit for the steak. Okay, there you go. And now I got the asparagus in here. And I'm reheating those a little bit now. Okay, right on. It doesn't have to be in one of these. It could be in another pan like this if you like. It just happens that I have this one, and this one's good for you to see what's happening because it's nice and white, okay? So you can understand what I'm doing and seeing what I'm looking for, okay? There's a little bit of happening here, a little bit of color. This stuff is cooked now. And I put just a touch of liquid in there. Okay, you can feel it, feels good. Okay, then I turn it off. I take everything out of the way. And then I put the asparagus in like one shot. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So I go like that. I'm putting it in. Okay. I'm taking all the asparagus or the shallots and I'm taking them out of the pan here and I'm putting them on top. Oh, dropped a few, dropped a few, dropped a few. Okay. Okay. So we have that. Nice little vessel here for everybody. If that doesn't work, you find a different plate. And what do I have here? Huh. Maybe this plate's better. Maybe this works better. Maybe you like this more. Maybe it's appealing more onto the plate, so you use that one instead. Okay? Different plate. Just so you can see it. Okay? Just like that. All right? Asparagus. So then you're going to take this as an option. last bit of butter that I have. I'm putting this in there. I'm putting these in there because I can, and that's what we send them for. I'm putting this in there too. Oh yeah, I'm putting it all in there. Whew. It gets a little too bubbly for you. All right. You can even put these in. Look at that. All right. That's all out of the way. All right. Okay, we're getting heat into it again. So we're cooking it now for the final stage to be plated, all right? So we're gonna show you what it looks like at the very end and put it together, all right? So everything's ready to go. The dauphinoise, we just put the grated cheese on, so it's in the oven. So it's ready to be taken out and plated with the steak that we're gonna put in the oven now for 1 more minute. And then we're gonna plate it and enjoy. Okay. All right, here we go in the oven. So now I would take the timer. Oh, turn that off, of course. I would put 1 minute on. All right, 1 minute. Ready to go. Okay, I'm gonna get everything out of the way here. Try not to make too much of a mess, of course. I make no promises. Okay. I'm gonna clean up a smidge. Get the grease out of here. Dee. Okay. Taking everything else away. Don't need any of this stuff in my life right now. We've got everything ready to go. So let's take us all out of the way. All right, so plate. We've got sauce. We got asparagus. We're gonna take the dauphinoise out. All right. Oh, there's a minute. Okay, there we go. Turn that off. Okay. And now we have steaks. Can you see that? Right? Fantastic. So we're gonna leave this in the pan for a second. We've got lovely asparagus here. So maybe you wanna take them with your hands so you don't crush them. Or you take it with a spoon, like this, with a fork. So I got them like this. So I take like this sometimes, so I can pass it to the customers, or I can pass it to my guests at my house. Sometimes people like to come over. Okay? Just like that, eh? Put it on top. Ooh. It's like I'm living the high life here. All right, now this is obviously hot. So you can see that, right? Whoop. So I would take a little scoop out of here as the customer or my friends desire, okay? So they come off, just like that. Woo. Okay. Look at that, okay? Gratin dauphinoise, okay? Nice and crusty, delicious stuff there, okay? And then, I've got these tomatoes here. Sometimes I like to make them, and sometimes people like those a lot. Put them on top of this, see that? Nice effect, right? And then to bring everything together, okay, so if it, like, see how this is kind of congealed slightly? So now I'm mixing it together, obviously, a little bit like that, so that it becomes liquid. But you can always put it back on the heat for a minute, 30 seconds, whatever it takes. And if it's too cold, then heat it up with a touch of water and let it come right back, okay? So what I'm doing now is I take a spoon of this, and just like that. All right? And sometimes I take 2 spoons. Okay? Huh? And if you're really sexy, a little of that on top of that, and hallelujah. Delicious, all right? Now you've died and gone to heaven, okay? Don't die, I'm kidding. Just eat, okay? And then you grab them, and you bring it to your table, just like this, and let them enjoy, because this way, they can see the asparagus goes this way, the steak, everything is delicious, okay? So let's try it and make sure we did a good job, all right? Let's make sure, because I wouldn't want you to make something that you didn't like. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's try a little steak here. Woo. Get it right in there in the middle so you can see. If that ain't medium rare, I don't know what is, okay? That's perfect, okay? That's what you want. 2 minutes in the oven, 450 at home. Delicious. Yes. Dauphinoise, put it in there. Get a little jus. Mix it together, okay? And then when you're feeling like you need a little refreshment, you pop one of these. All right? Bring it all together, all right? Delicious, okay? So I hope this really worked for you. I hope you have all the success with this dish, because we're trying to teach you how to make great food at home, and I want you to have a good time while you're doing it, okay? So good luck with everything, and always leave a comment if you like. Tell me what's happening. Thank you so much, okay? Good luck.